Dear devotees and friends, let us begin the discourse on the Panchama Veda, the Gospel of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. Tava kathamritam tapta jivanam kabhi bhiriditam kalmashapaham sravana mangalam srimadatatam bhuvi grinyanti e bhurida janaha. The Sri Ramakrishna, he was talking with the devotees, and the devotees, after listening, they were wondering, is he a man of knowledge or a man of devotion? So a devotee pointing to another devotee was telling, he has the attitude of the gopis. Gopis, those who are following these classes or the students of Vedanta, the gopis, reference to those wonderful minds, they were to love Sri Krishna, the ladies, the gopis. So he has the attitude of a love for God. Then the Ramchandra Datta, and he was a doctor, immediately is saying no, he has both the attitude of tender love and attitude of austere knowledge. Then the master, when he heard that they were talking about him, he didn't clearly understand what actually they were talking, so he asked them, what is it that you are talking about? Sri Ramakrishna inquired about Surendra. So they didn't reply, maybe just they just laughed, and because they were gazing what Sri Ramakrishna's actual mood. So it is unthinkable, almost from all types of human moods, we can say, the human attitudes, the human, the way of thinking, Sri Ramakrishna approached through all those. So that is why he's a unique personality. Christopher Isherwood mentioned is a phenomena. So uncomparable. And no one in the history of religion we find the practice like that. As someone practices through the path of devotion, someone from the path of knowledge, someone to the path of karma or dhyana, there are. But one who has not only traveled through all this, he has also the other philosophies and other religions, the other faiths, each and every one, he is the colossal. He himself is the parliament of all religions. So how it is possible? Now here slowly we will come to the today's topic. He is the bridge between the Nitya and the Leela. Nitya is the Brahman and Leela is the manifestation of the same Brahman as this world. So he is the bridge. So this unique way in the Upanishad it says, Amritasya Setu. It's a bridge. We need a bridge. Without the bridge, we cannot reach over there. Now, he has created us. Now, he, that supreme being, whom we call God, has come down, has taken the form of Sri Ramakrishna, and he is showing us the path. He is the goal. He is the path. He is also the guide. This is the uniqueness of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. He is living with us and is guiding us. He is leading to the path which will take us to the ultimate. And what is that ultimate? Which each and every human being is searching. That is peace, that is joy. And ultimate joy is called bliss. We are constantly searching for that, and Sri Ramakrishna is leading. And when we reach to that Sri Ramakrishna, that bliss, we find, oh, this is Sri Ramakrishna himself. He was guiding us. And he was showing us the path. And he, then ultimately, when we reach, we find it is he only. He is the goal. And he is the guide. And he is the way. He is the bridge between the Nitya and the Leela. We will come to that. And here, the Ram Babu, here waiting about you, etc., etc. Now, we have already completed that. Girish saluted the master and took his leave. Devendra and the other devotees took the master to his carriage. Seeing that one of the neighbors was sound asleep on a bench in the courtyard, Devendra woke him up. That's a very funny thing. This person from the neighborhood, he came to meet and listen to Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. He heard a holy person is coming to visit that house, so he came. Then maybe he was tired, and so he was sleeping on the bench at the courtyard, and he slept so fast. And Sri Ramakrishna came, everything happened, all the discourses and also the prasadam, everything, everyone got the food, and the poor man was sleeping and nobody noticed. And when they were returning back, then noticing that gentleman is sleeping over there, the Devendra went and told, hey, who are you and why you are sleeping over here? He got up and he said, has the Paramahamsa come? Paramahamsa, that way the people used to call Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. Parama means the supreme. It's a Sanskrit term, Parama, supreme. Hamsa means the swan. The Paramahamsa is the symbol of the Brahman. Paramahamsa is the symbol of that God. So why the swan? Because it is floating on the water, but not wet by the water. And that is the beauty. It is in the world, mixing with all people, visiting different people, talking with people, but at the same time, never ever touched by the greed, the lust, the anger, the jealousy, the competition, nothing. What are all the traits of the world? All the time people are like that. And that is always is free from that. Like the swan in the water, the Paramahamsa living in this world. So this is the Paramahamsa. So has the Paramahamsa come? All burst into laughter. The man had come a long time before Sri Ramakrishna's arrival, and because of the heat, had spread a mat on the bench, laid down and gone into sound asleep. So this is a symbol that sometimes some people, before we read, some people came to visit Sri Ramakrishna and from the neighbor, but they didn't like his talking. So they didn't like the God and they left. And Sri Ramakrishna also mentioned what type of people are this. They are not liking the spiritual discussion. They don't like to know. They are also practicing spirituality, a so-called religion, but they are always closing their eyes and they think whatever they have understood that is sufficient. They don't like to open their mind. They don't like to receive the great ideas. So we will come to the next chapter, the 39 is the page, English page is 743 and Bengali, the complete book published by the Udbodhan, it is 793. English 743 and Bengali 793. Now, these are the people who are coming here, sitting and listening, but they are not impressed. Why the Sri Ramakrishna is the simple? The God is simple, just natural, normal. We are gods, but unnecessarily we have superimposed, unknowingly superimposed at some time when we grew up in that in the atmosphere and that in the society, we slowly think that we are this, we are that, we should follow this, we should follow that, we should eat this, we should not eat that, all sorts of things. But the God is so simple. It has nothing to do with what are the dresses we are wearing or food we are eating, nothing like that. It is the mind. What is that mind? The free from the bondage. And what is this bondage? Craving. all our desires. And where from the desire come? I, me, mine. So ultimately we have to go to that ego that Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna pointed out, ahamkara, the ego. And if we can uproot that, then there is no connection. Though we are living in the world, but we know that we are not bound by this world. By that we are completely free. And that is spirituality, that is religion. And there is no question of hating. Whom to hate? Why? Because the God has become that. He is just behaving like that. He has become the king and he has become the subject. He is behaving like that, the subject. He himself is playing in there. And the scripture also he has written. The moment we understand these, we are free. That's called Jivana Muktavastha. The religion is realization. What is the realization? What to understand? This. So this is the unique way Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, the God himself, the goal himself, the bridge himself, he is trying to guide us. But some unfortunate one will never listen. They like to close their eyes and they like to go, and the path they think that is they will also reach, but in a roundabout way, after experiencing lot of the miseries and downfalls and all that. Let them go in their own way. But we should follow the hand of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, our spiritual guide, and will follow the path of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. Then it is the master's reminiscences, the teacher, Master Mahashaya, he is recording it. That is the April 12, 1885. Sri Ramakrishna was sitting in the devotee with Balaram's drawing room in Calcutta. The Calcutta is a very holy place for those who are following the path of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. And Kamarpukur, Jairambati, these are the very close to Calcutta, not very far. So maybe 2-3 hours drive, and one can reach over there. These are the very holy places, because Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, he took the human form as Ramakrishna, and he played over there. Then he came to Calcutta, as that Krishna was born in Mathura and grew up over there in Vrindavan and Mathura. And then he went to Delhi, and then afterwards, of course, towards the Gujarat, and he stayed over there. His main field of action was in Delhi. So this is the way that Krishna. And Sri Ramakrishna, main field of work was Calcutta. So he used to visit different houses. And this North Calcutta, now they say North Calcutta, there was a very rich person, and very humble. So God liked him because of his humbleness. He was rich, but at the same time, he was very humble. So God loved those who are really humble. Blessed are the meek, for they shall see God. So that is the way, the meek, the humble, though he is educated, though he is having the money, but no boastfulness. No showing off of the ego. Oh, I am rich and these, that, nothing like that. So God loved these. So we have to learn from here. These are the very clear indication. It is nothing wrong if you are having education. Nothing wrong if you are having the money. But one should be very humble. So that is the main thing. The Sri Ramakrishna coming to that Balaram's drawing room. And now that Balaram's house, that the ancestors, they are also, I should say, the very kind-hearted people and religious people. They donated that house to the Ramakrishna mission, because so many direct disciples of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna stayed over there. There was nothing. That this is the 125th years of the Ramakrishna mission is coming, and Ramakrishna mission was formed in that building. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, who never used to go to anybody's house, visited more than 100 times to these houses. You can imagine how blessed that family. So that our Sri Ramakrishna, the god, he was there sitting in the drawing room. M arrived at 3 o'clock. M means the master Marsha, the recorder. And Girish, Balaram, the younger Naren, Pultu, Dija, Purna, Mahendra Mukherjee, and many other devotees were there. So those who are following the pages of the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna now acquainted with these names of the devotees. Shortly, Trailokya Shannal, Jaigopal Sen, and other members of the Brahma Samaj arrived. Brahma Samaj. But still they used to like to listen to Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. They loved to converse with him, to learn from him. And they were learned people. They were in the high of the society. And though they were following a different path, they were trying to develop that, the Brahma Samaj. But they used to come to Sri Ramakrishna, and they all came. Many women devotees were present also, seated behind a screen. That was the tradition in those days. The women devotees used to sit behind a screen. They never used to sit before the male people. And that came much afterwards. Previously it was not there in the Hindu society. Afterwards, because of the political and social changes, this change came. So they were also there. Among them was Mohini's wife, who had almost gone insane on account of her son's death. There were a few other afflicted souls like her who used to visit the master to obtain peace of mind. Sri Ramakrishna was describing to the devotees the various incidents of his sadhana and the phases of his spiritual realization. Now, friends, there are the afflictions, there are sufferings, there are insults, there are praise, and there are acceptances. There are so many things goes on in the life. Human life means like this. Sometimes we say, oh, at the time of Sri Ramachandra, everybody was so happy. No. Rama had to fight and punish so many people. His own wife, Mother Sita, was abducted by the Ravana. People were there. So bad and good people all through. And we find the rishis are coming and requesting Sri Rama to go and punish the bad people who are disturbing their regular worships and regular practices. Bad people were also there at the time of Rama. But we have to live with this. The good and bad will always be there. We are imagining that if we go to heaven, everything will be so good. Of course, that will be good, comparing with this present worldly life. But imagine some devotees will be there so close to God. Some devotees will be there according to their mental attitude, according to their karma phala. They will be little away from God. Won't there be jealousy? I think there will be, because that is the nature. Though less, because giving up all those things, they could reach to God, but still there will be there, because the duality. So this we have to understand what we are learning. We are learning this. We have to go to the source. And how? By giving up all desire. What type of desire? Craving. I should have this, I should have that. I should be praised by each and every one. I should not be criticized by anyone. All these type of thoughts are distracting us. And when we think in this world that I am the mother, my son has passed away, I am the father, my son has passed away, of course the attachment is so close, a terrible pain. But if we can't overcome this pain, who is suffering? That person. If I am suffering. I am thinking that somebody is thinking bad about me. I am thinking. Whether the other people are really thinking bad or not, I do not know. I am imagining. Hundreds and thousands of people are suffering only through this imagination. Constantly we imagine. Educated people, And they came, I know few of them, they came from India, settled over here. They are good engineers. They used to have the good work. Just they developed a peculiar imagination. The people are trying to harm them. People are doing this. This is terrible thing. And how to overcome this? Just think of God. The God is there. He is my Father. He is taking care of me. Why should I have to? If the people are trying to harm me, let them do. I don't care. Because I know I'm protected by God. This is called faith. And that is called spirituality. And that is realization. So Sri Ramakrishna, he is now telling this thing to encourage people. Who are those people? Master Mahasaya wrote, afflicted people. Tabu kathamritam tapta jivanam. This tapta jivana, the life which is burning, which is afflicted, full of sorrow, and I don't know where to go. And in the Viveka Chudamani Shankaracharya is excellently, he is explaining, Durvara samsara dhavagni taptam dodhu omanam duradrishtavatehi. If possible, many of you must have read the Vivek Chudamani. If you read, excellent. And so poetical way the Shankara is explaining that I am running through this jungle fire. All around me it is fire. It is going to burn me. I don't have anyone, oh God, oh Guru, except you. I don't have anyone. If you feel like that, then you will never be, and at least attached to this world. You are there in the world, but are not of the world. This is spirituality, understanding this. So Sri Ramakrishna, he is explaining to them, the Divine Mother would put me in such a state that sometimes my mind would come down from Nitya to the Leela, and sometimes go up from the Leela to the Nitya. Nitya and Leela, these are the two words he has mentioned. Sometimes before I received a letter from a gentleman, he also wanted to know about this Nitya and Leela. Nitya, literally, the Sanskrit word Nitya literally means eternal, no changes. What is that? Brahman, the consciousness, all-pervading consciousness. But the problem is we cannot imagine that particular state. It is constantly the same. But we are, right from the birth and also before this birth, so many births we have taken, and every time we are accustomed to understand things with diversity. There will be different people. There will be educated, uneducated, poor and rich, and the male, female, these, that, so many diversities. Now suddenly if we try to understand, there is nothing is there, it is only the one. Then how we can imagine? How we can realize that? And that is called sadhana. And that is the truth we have to reach. It is all one, it is not two. The Sri Ramakrishna is mentioning, that it is said that renunciation, after 12 years of his great sadhana, after 12 years of his unprecedented superhuman austerities, the Divine Mother told him that you remain in Bhavamukha, keeping the mind on the borderline between absolute, that is Nitya, and the relative, that is Leela, the Nitya and the Leela. Sri Ramakrishna completed all different types of his practices. The most of you know by now, and those who don't, I will request you to read the biography of Sri Ramakrishna. Of all the religious history, this is the only and the unique person I should say, the God took that human form, Sri Ramakrishna. And it was necessary for the present day human being to know that all paths are leading to the same goal. When the same Sri Ramakrishna came in the form of Rama or in the form of Krishna, as he himself said, some people may admit or may not, but that doesn't matter. It is the truth. And the truth is the same God, the Supreme Being, taking different time, different human form and trying to guide us. But how he is guiding us? At the time of Sri Rama, completely different way. At the time of Sri Krishna, another way. At the time of Sri Ramakrishna, as the society already became very modern, very developed. So it was necessary to guide them in a completely different way. When we were children and our parents were children, that time their parents and their teachers, they thought that to make the child attentive, you must sometimes use the cane, the rod, so that the child will understand, having the physical pain, oh my God, if I don't do this, then again I will get the beating. And nowadays, most of the modern countries, they ban. You cannot do anything like that on a child. So how they are guiding them? Because children have also grown up. Their intellectual, the IQ is also has developed. And slowly, slowly they are understanding that if I don't do this, I am going to lose. And when the mother or the father, they are just explaining, they're understanding. So this way, the human society, we handle according to the situation. And the present day world in the now, this is the 19th, 20th, 21st century, when the Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, he wants to guide us, these very advanced people, those who are sending the rockets to moon and the Mars. For them, what is religion? Oh, the God is sitting on that, and the high, on the top of the Himalaya. If you go over there, no, they won't believe it. Immediately they will ask question, there are so many satellites, thousands of satellites now. They are observing every inch of the world and the earth. Now tell me, where is God? You cannot simply say like that. You have to explain it. That's why the Vedanta is accepted all over the modern world. What is this Vedanta says? Just analyze. Logically try to understand what is this. So Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is giving, and now we have to understand very logically what is this Nitya and what is this Leela. Nitya is eternal, unchanging, and Leela exactly opposite, and constantly changing. These are the two conditions. Nitya, unchanging, Leela, changing, and both are there, and there is a bridge. From the Leela, the changing constantly, there is a Nitya through the unchanging. In the Upanishad also we find this type of references. In one tree, two birds, they were sitting of the same plumage. Apparently they were both same. But one was quietly sitting, unperturbed, undisturbed, and in action, he was not doing anything. The other one, he was hopping from this branch to that branch and picking this one, a fruit, that fruit, sometime good, sometime bitter, and that experiences. Then suddenly he saw the other bird, and he wondered, how come that he is calm, so composed? Why he is not behaving like me? Then the question came, as the same question came in the mind of Gautama, who afterwards became Buddha. How come when all people are suffering, a man with a gerua, with a saffron clad as a sannyasi, as a monk, how he can retain his calmness and his face is beaming with joy? How it is possible? Because of this. So this is Nitya and Leela. Those who have got that Nitya aspect of Nitya, understood that or trying to reach over there, their character changes. And those who are in the Leela, always changing, sometimes in the below the wave and sometimes on the top of the crest of that. And they are very happy, again they are suffering, again they are happy. It goes on as the wave goes on, up and down. The Sri Ramakrishna is mentioning, he completed all his sadhana. I am mentioning from the great master, where Sri Ramakrishna heard that the order came from the Supreme that you should remain in Bhava Mukha. The Sri Ramakrishna thought that my purpose is done. I came over here, I wanted to know which path is leading to which goal. Then I found that all paths are leading to the same goal. All paths are leading to the same goal. There's the Himalaya, the Mount Everest. The mountaineers, they always like to go over there. Some they will be climbing from Indian side, 2-3 paths are there, and some will be from the Nepal. They're all ultimately reaching to the same top of the mountain. On the summit, they see the same experience. Those who are climbing from the side of the Nepal or from the India, when they will reach on the top, what they will see? What will be their experience? Same experience. It cannot be different. From the Nepal side, they are coming up. Oh, we saw there is a huge lake on the top of the Himalaya. Will they say like that? Never. Even if they say, of course, nowadays, all scientific things are there from the satellite, they will say nothing is there. So their experience are the same. But why we fight? Oh, you are coming from Nepal side? Oh, we are not going to talk with you. You are not my friend. Why should we? The same way, the someone is coming and going towards the God from one path, and he says that this is the path of the Buddha, is the path of the Hindus, the path of the Christians, path of the Muslims, path of this, path of that. Let there be so many paths. What is the problem? But reaching to the goal on the top, on the summit, what do you experience? Tell us that. Until and unless you reach to that, experience that, just on the hearsay, if you fight with others, well, people will tell you are an ignorant. So ignorant people only they fight, not knowing themselves where they are going, they'll be fighting, thinking, oh, my path is the best. Why? Ego again. So Nitya and the Leela, we need a bridge, and Sri Ramakrishna is the bridge. Amritasya setuhu. He is that bridge to that eternity. Amritasya setuhu. In the Upanishad it says, it's a bridge to the eternity. Sri Ramakrishna wanted to give up. Now the mother said, no, you have to. And what is this? It's like keeping the mind on the borderline between the absolute. We are using the English word absolute. No changes. Just imagine. No changes at all. That is Nitya. And again, the Sanskrit will say it is Nitya. Nitya means always, every time, every moment, eternally, it is the same. That is called Nitya. And then, in the relative plane, the Leela. Why it is relative plane? It is different. When someone is looking at something, we went to some place and so many other tourists were there. We were looking at the same site and people are explaining in different way. It always happens. I look at that on the top of the hill, standing here. Oh, look at that! The sunlight is showing so wonderful golden glow. And from distant another person, golden, you say? But come here and see, it is just silver. The same light, the same place. Different people from different angle, they're seeing in a different way. And that is called relative. But absolute no change. If you reach to that absolute, it will be always the same. If not, you have not reached the absolute. If you see differences, know it for sure that you have not reached to that ultimate point. So Nitya and Leela, we need someone who has already gone over there and come back and tell us it is really, really there. It is there, something which never changes, truly. We heard about the rishis and maharishis who went over there and came back, and in great joy they said, Srindantu Vishe Amritasya Putraha. Oh, the children of the immortal bliss, listen to me. I have gone. And what is there? Is it a place? No. Is it time? No. So what is it? Beyond ignorance. I was there, it was there with me all through, but I never knew. And suddenly, with the grace of that Supreme, the black curtain removed, I saw that. And I can't express it. I'm sorry. Because I cannot express it in any language. So that way they say that I have seen that. But I say, they will be telling, if you follow this way, you can reach over there. You can surely reach over there. So Sri Ramakrishna is mentioning, after reaching, he wanted to remain into that absolute, but someone told him, guided him, no, you have to become a bridge. You remain over there, and you should be the bridge between Nitya and the Leela. You are the Amritasya Setu. The word that has been used in the Upanishad can be applicable only with the Sri Ramakrishna. Amritasya Setu is the bridge of eternity, bridge to eternity. At will, he could go to the attributeless Brahman, Nitya. Attributeless. What is the attribute? Sattva, Raja, Tama. We understand in that way, oh, that is a good person. Oh, okay. There's a mixture of good and bad, and the bad person. The good, bad, and the mixture. This always, whenever we judge a person, we judge in that way. And you'll find nowadays, whenever you go to an ashrama, even to the ashrama, they will go to their web page and see what is that comments are there. The people will judge. They will say, give the number, 4.8 number you have got, and the comment is, good people, this is okay, but don't give prasad. So no to number. So 4.8, like that. Why you got the prasad? Not got the prasad. I'm joking. So this is the way, if you are talking like this, so you go and you see, and when everything is all right, you give the number. After seeing that number, other people are coming. It may be for the things that you are going to purchase from the shops. When you are going to different shops, you are purchasing, and that you go and check what is good, what is bad. It's okay. About the hotels, it is okay. But about the holy people, holy places, now you have to go yourself and see, because the reactions are completely different. Sometimes when you go, when you see the same place, same person, your reaction will be, oh, what is a wonderful place and wonderful people. I like to come back. As it happened in the life of Master Masha. He also went with his friend and relative. But that friend and relative who took him, introduced, he never came back. He never liked that place. He never liked that Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. We never see that he is coming and meeting him again. Second time. But we find all the pages of the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, and many other times maybe this Master Masha went over there. Why? So if you, Master Masha, suppose, if Master Masha inquired from Sidhu, how do you like that place? The Sidhu would say, oh, if you go by the bank of the river, Ganga, okay, this is wonderful the flower garden is there, you will enjoy. But inside, if you go, as an elderly person sitting over there giving the talk, sometimes some people are sitting before him. I don't like that. And inside the temple, the priests are all worshipping. I don't think, I'm not much impressed. But if you go, yeah, that is a good place. That garden is there, you can go and see it, and you can whistle if you like. And hearing that, if the person is deciding not to visit the Dakshineshwar and Sri Ramakrishna, what a great loss. The same way, it is every individual, according to the karma phala. If you come to that place, immediately you will feel, this is my place. And I like to be here. That attractions will be there. And if you are not, that is not your place. Maybe somewhere else. So this is the way, if we understand, then we understand. So this is the example of the Nitya and Leela. Sri Ramakrishna was sitting on the border of absolute, unchangeable Brahman. And next step coming out in the Leela, where so many things are going on, happening because of the attributes. So one is attribute-less Brahman, and also come down to the relative world, seeing it in the manifestation of the God alone. The God alone. It is not a separate thing. It's not a different thing. The Brahman is different, the world is different. No, the God, same God. Examples of Nitya. Again, in the great master, it says, when Totapuri, the great Advaitin teacher, left Dakshineshwar after spending there for 11 months, usually this type of sannyasis, they never stay more than 3 nights in one place. Because then they will develop the relations and they will develop likings, dislikings. So, Ramta Sadhu Bahata Pani. In Hindi, in Indian language, they will say, Ramta Sadhu Bahata Pani. When the water is flowing, it is all clean. And similarly, a monk should also move around so that he will not develop attachment for any place or the people. So they used to, but here, this person, he lived for 11 months instead of 3 nights. He was also learning from Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna because he was the Bhagavan. And the Totapuri, he was a very perfected soul, but still he was thinking this way, that way, the same narrow thinking. Only through the path of knowledge one can reach God, not through the path of devotion. So he used to argue with Sri Ramakrishna, and slowly, Sri Ramakrishna, though the disciple, but the Supreme Lord, and made him understand that it is possible for, everything is possible for God. And whatever you see is nothing but the same manifestation. Yo kuch hai, so tu hi hai. Whatever you see is nothing but that you. In the Indian language, the Sanskrit, the Hindi, there's a song, Yo kuch hai, so tu hi hai. Whatever is there is nothing but, that is the realization. So Sri Ramakrishna is mentioning that he was practicing. What happened? Sri Ramakrishna decided to remain united with the Brahman in non-dual state. Friends, this portion is very important because we don't have any experience. No one could tell us actually what happened. When say, Nitya, the eternal, don't know what happens over there. No one can say. But Sri Ramakrishna, through that's why he was mentioning, not that to get the clapping from the people. He was telling to give us the understanding. What happens over there? Then he was telling like this. In this state, there remain no connection of I and mine, you and yours, or the idea of one or two. It is the reality beyond imagination. We cannot imagine even. That is the reality. The illumined person realizes within himself, through samadhi, the infinite and indestructible Brahman, indescribable Brahman, the source of knowledge. and the absolute bliss. Now here, source of knowledge and absolute bliss. We get a hook to understand. We understand joy. We understand happiness. And we hanker for the happiness. We hanker for the joy. Now, absolute, maybe 1,000 or million times more that happiness is bliss. Maybe. And in that way, we can imagine the bliss. So this is the word that we should remember. In Nirvikalpa Samadhi, there is only bliss and more bliss. Anandam iti anandam. It is only bliss, it is more bliss. So what is the goal? Ananda. The goal is that bliss, that joy. And we think we will go and eat that particular food and I will get joy. Of course you will get. Temporary. We think we will go and meet that friend. Of course you will get some joy. Temporary. Because again he will leave. And you will be again, the parting is there. Meeting and parting. These are same. The obverse and the reverse of the same coin. So when we are meeting, we are happy. But after some time, we have to say goodbye. So that is called parting. But here it is only bliss and bliss alone and nothing else. So what we are searching? God. And what is this God? Bliss. And when after practicing spirituality we become angry, we become cruel, we become the killers, please stop. Stand before a mirror and ask, am I truly going towards God? No. The answer is very clear. So answer is, if we are going towards the God, it should be the joy, it should be the happiness, it should be the bliss, no hatred, no jealousy, no anger. So this is the main. Shankaracharya, I will quote from here, the Shankaracharya explained in the Viveka Chudamani the verses 408, 409 and 410. So this, if we can understand, So this is the way we have to understand. This Shankaracharya, he is giving us the idea. I will quote only from one verse, 408. If you are interested, you can read 409 and 410 from the Viveka Chudamani. Kimopi satata bodham kebala ananda rupam. Reality beyond imagination. Kimopi. I don't know how to explain. Kim api. Kim means what? How can I explain this? This is a very subjective. You have to realize yourself. So the beyond imagination, you cannot imagine that this is this. Kimapi satata bodham. Satata, the continuous, unchanging bodham, the feeling. Kevalam, only ananda rupam, is the feeling of bliss. Constant feeling of bliss. The friends, we all have to remember this particular word, anandam, bliss. That is the goal, and that is the ultimate reality, and that is God. In different names we call it. Kimapi satata bodham kevalam ananda rupam nirupamam otibelam nitta muktam niriham. Nirupamam means you cannot have anything compared to that, peerless. Because that is the only thing. How can you compare it? So if you have another tree, you can compare it with another tree. So this tree looks like that tree. Oh, this is the palm tree. It looks like the dead tree. So like that we can say. So this is there is nothing. How can you compare? So it says nirupamam, upama, na upama, nirupama. Nirupama, sometimes they give the name. That means there is no upama, there is no example. The Brahman has no any second one to compare. Nirupama. Oti Belam, unlimited. So you cannot say, oh, this is the God and God eats only vegetable food and God looks like this, God has only 2 hands or 4 hands or 10 hands and God only lives over here. All blasphemy. You don't believe in God. God is all pervading. God is all powerful. The moment you limit his power, you are criticizing God. You are an unbeliever. It's a blasphemy to say any limit about God. So, Oti Belam, unlimited. I have realized up to this. Friend, if you go farther, maybe you will realize a little more. And no one can give the complete idea. Why? Ati Belam, unlimited. Nitya Muktam, eternally free. Why eternally free? No desire. What is the bondage? Desire. I like to purchase, nowadays the new fashion, people like to purchase some electric, the car and all that. Now everybody, oh, you have purchased the electric car? They're like that. So desire is there. So when any little desire is there, you cannot reach over there. Nitya Muktam, Niriham, it does nothing. Why he is not doing any action? Because he has no desire. Again, we always do something when there is a desire. The Ramakrishna never wanted to do anything, but the Supreme Being who came in that form thought that he should be a bridge, otherwise how people will understand. So the whatever work he will do as Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna as an avatar, that is, there is no desire for that. Swami Vivekananda, Ma Sharadamani Devi, they were not having any desire except love. And that love only was the main thing inspiring them to do something for the people, to talk to them, to go to them, to guide them, to console them, help them. So that is the only love and nothing else. Behind it, nothing and nothing and nothing. Niravadhi Gaganabham, Nishkalam, Nirvikalpam, Hridi Kalayati Vidwan, Brahma Purnam, Samadho. Niravadhi Gaganabham. Now, when he is the Shankaracharya explaining in this way, he tried to give an example. You know how it is? Gagana. Gagana means the sky. When we see the sky, we see, oh, that is in the horizon, the sky is limited, but it's unlimited. Then if you go through the plane, it is much, much bigger. Then we were seeing the sky standing on a field. Then you go to the rocket and all those astronauts will say, oh, unlimited. Where it is ending, we do not know. That is Gagana. Gagana, the Sanskrit word, I don't know how they coined this type of words. The Gagana means unlimited. You cannot imagine the end of it. Gaganabham, like the Gagana, unlimited. And when we say that God is only like this, and God has this name, God eats this, God put dress like this, are you not limiting him? For your sadhana, of course it is good. The God is my little Krishna, or baby Rama, it's okay. But the moment you say this is the only God, and if you don't believe, come, let us fight. That is the problem. So we have to understand this. And those who are behaving like that, they are going away from God. God doesn't like that. He is Nidavadi Gaganabham Nishkalam, without growth or decay. Nishkalam. Kala, Nishkala. Then no growth, no decay, as it is. Nirvikalpam. Nirvikalpam, without doubt. When I was going, somewhere I went in India, Some old the devotees they saw and they loved me, so they told, Maharaj, you never change, you're looking the same. I took out the cap and showed them. See, there, previously it was all covered with hair, and now it is very less hair. So I am changing. I am not Nishkala. I just in a jokingly way said, the color, because I was a little baby, then I became a young boy, then a young man, and then slowly an old person, and then I will die. The color, it is changing, the body is changing, mind is changing. So I am not that, but within me, the consciousness, which always say, observed my changes in the body, my changes in the mind, that is the Brahman. And that Brahman I should realize. And I will say, Hridikalayati Vidwan, Brahma Purnam Samadho. And that illumined one realizes in Samadhi the absolute Brahman, which is full of bliss and more bliss. Friends, I think we should stop over here and continue and the experiences of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. He said, then a change came over me. The mind left the plane of the Leela and ascended to the Nitya. I found no distinction between the sacred Tulsi and the ordinary Sajana plant. I no longer enjoyed seeing the forms of God. So this is Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna and his experience. We will continue Sri Ramakrishna, the bridge between the Nitya and the Leela. Thank you. Is there any question?
Yes, Maharaj. Harsharaj is asking, often people comment and ask questions about spiritual paths with full prejudice just to boost their ego. It is easy to avoid if they are strangers, but when they are our own family, what to do?
So here you have to be clever, because maybe they are very close relatives, maybe their father, mother, grandfather, grandmother, very close. But still, in the path of religion, this relation has nothing. You have to understand, in the path of religion, for other things, okay, you must have to take their guidances because their experience. But in the path of religion, you should take the path or teachings of those who have realized, like Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, etc. So I should think it is better to be quiet when they are guiding and try to analyze what are the good things are there in their teachings. But at the same time, when you are reading the scripture, listening to the discourses, if you feel that is the path, try to follow that. Thank you.
Harsharaj has a two-part question. Turyanandaji once mentioned to Sadhu Shantanath that when Hanuman talks about the three attributes, he means that Lord can be realized through all three. Part 2. My question is, it is easier to understand Jiva Buddhi and Atma Buddhi leading to union with God. But their Buddhi leads to union with God is hard to contemplate. How to contemplate it?
See that you have understood it very correctly, that when the Deha Buddhi, the Dasoham, so when I am feeling that I am a separate body, then I am humble, I am like a servant, I listen to you and obey your commands. And when above that, Atma Buddhi, so I know that it is you and me at the port. So like that, you have understood this. And whatever the path you feel is good for you, you follow. But remember, like every other knowledge, spiritual knowledge also requires some practices, some what's called training. And that is called Satya, then Tyaga, Atma Samyama, and all this. So that I think you are practicing, you have practiced, and you have to practice that. Without all those practices, simply thinking that I am the one with God, It may be a wonderful imagination, but it may not be the reality. I'm sorry. So thank you.
The next question is from Jeff. He's saying, in English, in quotes, bliss sometimes means people so happy that they are oblivious to all things around them.
Right.
Is there a deeper description of Ananda than bliss?
That Jeff, of course, that it is very difficult to explain. So ultimately they chose as to translate the Ananda as bliss, not happiness or joy, because bliss has to some extent, we can say, some quality of the Ananda. But when they saw Ananda, that means the absolute joy. And when the Shiva is dancing, it's the imagination, because it is so full of joy, it cannot contain. It cannot lie down, it cannot sleep, it cannot sit. So he is dancing with great joy. So that is called the Ananda. In Vedanta, in one of the Upanishads, when one rishi, he found that joy, he cried out and he couldn't say any full sentence or word. He only some of the syllables of great joy. He said, "Au, au, au, ahamannam, 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 ahamannadu, ahamannadaha," like that. So it is the great joy, eureka, 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 like that. So it is very difficult to explain or to coin any word to explain that. It isn't individual, it is all personal experience. Thank you, Jeff. So thank you, friends. And let us conclude with this mantra. Niranjanam nityam anantarupam bhaktanukampa dhrita vigraham vai Ishavataram parameshamidhyam tam Ramakrishnam shirasa namamaha. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.